You know, one of the toughest places in the state to be a state lawmaker is likely the western part of the state, largely because of the distance between places like Asheville and Raleigh. So we wanted to tag along with Representative Brian Turner from the greater Asheville area to see what it's like. It turns out he packs a lot more than just his suitcases.
Can I talk to you about lunch?
It's Monday morning in the Turner house.
Everything that we had frozen.
13-year-old Eleanor and mom Katina are getting ready for school.
10:30 is when you have to be there.
And Brian Turner is off to work.
I love you.
A 4-hour commute.
See you on Thursday.
Okay.
The Asheville area state representative hits the road every Monday during session. Won't be back until Thursday or Friday. All right, so we literally just left Representative Turner's house, and we are literally taking the trek back to Raleigh with him. And because of COVID and these unusual times, we are doing some unique things. I'm interviewing him while I'm driving my vehicle, and he is driving his vehicle. So this should be interesting. What's usually going through your head when you're on this part of the trip? You know, you're just starting, you got to leave, you're leaving home. What's going through your mind?
Typically, I'm sitting here going, okay, I got 4 hours. All right, well, how much time am I going to spend doing stuff? How much time am I going to spend just kind of zoning out and just having some kind of quiet Brian time? Probably when I get past Hickory, exit 123 is when my mind kind of shifts from I'm leaving home to I'm heading to Raleigh. And what am I going to be doing this week?
The legislature is technically a part-time job. The pay is under $14,000 a year with a $104 daily stipend when in session. He gets 28 cents per mile, and there is plenty of miles.
I don't think I fully understood the time commitment away from home. I mean, I'll be quite honest. I don't think, I really got that it would be driving to Raleigh 4 hours each way for 6 months out of the year, which in reality has turned out closer to being sometimes 9 and 10 months out of the year.
Not to mention many lawmakers like him have regular full-time jobs to juggle. Turner works in commercial real estate.
I like it being cozy.
After the trek down I-40, Turner arrives at his legislative office.
A day of the legislature, many times you have like a 7:30 breakfast with some sort of industry group or trade group where they come in and kind of give their spiel about here's what they do, here's what their legislative agenda is. Then you got committee meetings usually until mid-afternoon session, and that typically goes 5 or 6 o'clock. Before COVID, we would have then done receptions in the evening, and then you go back, try and do some regular work, maybe read up on some bills, and then try to get to bed at a decent hour so you can get up and do it all over again.
Where does Turner rest his head at night? For that, we have to go all the way back to Asheville. In his driveway, a legislative home on wheels.
Be ready to rock and roll?
He calls it the Silver Fox.
Now, I had tried to do hotels, and I had tried to do renting a room or renting an apartment, and again, with the uncertainty of session, it's sort of like, all right, I'm going to rent a room through June. Okay, well, we're going to be in session now through August. Now what do I do? So this kind of allowed me to sort of control my own housing a little bit better, which was really kind of freeing.
Turner parks his camper at the State Fairgrounds campground, his home away from home.
Here we go. Turn on some lights. This is the Silver Fox. I've got the bedroom over here. My table will go here. And so this is kind of a nice place like I can do work. It's not a full-size fridge, but it's bigger than a dorm fridge. This is the master bath. But it's great, you get to meet people, you talk to them, and it's ever changing. So, I'm going to be here for a little while, but folks are going to come and go, and so it's just sort of, I don't know, instead of speed dating, because it's like speed camping. Depending on how well the budget goes, you may end up going over there and having a beer later with them. And, sometimes they're not from North Carolina, but many times they are. And they will absolutely tell you what they think about the legislature and things like that. And it's so, you don't always agree with them, but at least it gives you some perspective.
Turner isn't alone. Typically, a few other lawmakers live here, too. A chance to bond away from the grind of the legislature.
Once you get us away from the building, the tenor changes, and you start off by talking about your dogs or your family or your trailer, and then from there you can just kind of build and ease your way into, oh, by the way, that bill you filed, I'd like to run an amendment. Hopefully some more of that will happen this year, and we'll inspire some other people to come out here and be a part of the camping caucus. Here's a pharmacist who's talking about vaccination protocols.
Back at the legislature, Representative Turner sorts through a constituent email, a busy task these days.
This woman who has emailed me asking that gym employees be classified as essential workers for vaccination purposes.
Another, how should we say this, unique email comes in.
This is a gentleman who's asked me if I can schedule an appointment with President Biden because he wants to speak with him on the subject of the Illuminati.
Strange emails are nothing new, but the contentious political climate does create a need for caution.
My wife was at a stoplight one time, and someone ran up to the car and knocked on the driver's side window because she was in the car that had the legislative plate, and realized it wasn't me, but then gave her something to give to me. And so that kind of freaked her out a little bit, understandably. So I appreciate your support on the amendment.
Despite necessary caution, long hours, and little pay, Turner says the work is critical. That point crystal clear during COVID.
This past year we saw was helping people navigate the unemployment system. And I can't, I can't even count how many hundreds of people that we worked with over the past year to get them through that unemployment system. And people who, people wrote us handwritten thank you notes saying, I kept my house, I wasn't evicted, I didn't lose my car because I was able to get the benefits and you guys helped. And so that's what really makes me want to keep doing this.
Important perspective when you're 4 hours away from your family, living on two wheels.
If I didn't think that I was doing something positive for Buncombe County, for the city of Asheville, people in North Carolina, I would not leave my wife and daughter at home 4 days a week for 6 to 9 months at a time.